Welcome back to my channel. I'm Traven, and in today's video, I'm doing my first artist spotlight looking at Peach Momoko. That's right, an artist spotlight from someone who took a art history course in college and knows nothing about art criticism, but as the saying goes, I don't know art, but I know what I like, and I just want to highlight this artist and this creator and talk about some of the things that I think they're doing that are really great for the comic book space and share some of the cool stuff that I have that's come from Peach Momoko in recent years. I first learned about Peach Momoko as an artist for Marvel Comics. He had several cover illustrations that really stood out to me. And beyond that, I didn't really know who she was or what she was doing. It seems like for a time after around 2020, she was contracted exclusively to Marvel. First thing I want to look at is the Marvel portfolio Peach Momoko. Look at the size of this thing. This is amazing. So I bought this from Amazon, thinking it was an art book, and it is not an art book. It's just several prints of her cover work for Marvel. So I'm going to pull some of these out here and show you what I'm talking about. So I think I have my favorites up front. I'd really like to get a few of these framed and put up somewhere in the house. There's not a whole lot of space around where the comics actually are. Maybe over where the board games are would be a good space for them, or in the entryway. I mean, people can already see all my Transformers when they open the door, so there's no hiding the fact that we're like ridiculous mega nerds here. Here we have a cover for Spider-Gwen. Probably one of my favorite of the newer Marvel heroes that came in that wave. We've got a Captain Marvel. Very nice. And one of the things that immediately strikes me with Peach Momoko's art style is that a good bit of it is watercolor. There are some videos online that you can find of speed paints of her work. And while I don't know a lot about art, for a number of years, my teacher bestie was the art teacher. And so I am aware that watercolor is notoriously difficult to work with and achieve the exact effect you want, because water just does its own thing. So there's a X-23 cover and a Spider-Woman cover. She also has this tendency, especially with the covers, to do just a single character spotlight and really create a moment, a mood for that character or for that comic that I feel like it's really nice to see. I think a lot of comic art and a lot of comic covers can get a little busy with their subject matter, and so to see that a lot of Peach Momoko stuff is like a profile picture kind of thing is just really clean and nice and gives you a good sense of that character very quickly. So to move on to some of the Marvel covers of recent years that I picked up. So we have Miss Marvel Mutant Menace #1. This is a variant cover. Peach Momoko is not the interior artist for this. She's just doing the covers. But again, to have that single character put in a situation, the expression on the face conveying so much of the attitude and the drama of what's happening in the interior of this comic. This is where Miss Marvel finds herself hunted as a mutant, and it's got a very dark feeling to it, and I feel like this cover really captures that, even though this particular moment of being tied up in these vines never really occurs in the comic. I feel like the vibe is there and the attitude is there to really sell you on the feeling of that comic. One of the comics series that Peach Momoko did write for Marvel Comics was these Elseworld titles, Demon Days and Demon Wars, and these are an AU an alternate universe that deals with the Marvel superheroes as amalgams of their Marvel persona, their Marvel character, and Japanese yokai folklore, and kind of mashes those up. So you have Spider-Man as an actual like spider monster. You have Hulk as this giant ogre. Interior here is also completely Peach Momoko's work at watercolor style throughout, and then just has this really interesting fusion of Japanese and American culture that I really appreciate, and that is made even more apparent in future work that she did. So to give a sense of what I'm talking about here with the clouds, we've got that style that I see out of in Asian art with the swirling clouds, very evocative of manga and of that like Japanese aesthetic. Here we have these splash pages that are very reminiscent of traditional Japanese art in both the drawing style, the colors, the character's face here. Very reminiscent of that time period, the things you'll see out of classical Japanese art. With the action scenes, there's so much like kinetic energy that she builds out of this watercolor style. So here we have Thor's hammer connecting. We've got a lot of these like sprays out of that impact. Just really cool art, and really sells the action of these scenes as well. The most recent comic that Peach Momoko is penning, is writing, is the Ultimate X-Men line. Again, this is another alternate universe. The Ultimate line, I think, is meant to kind of revisit the idea of I can't remember. I think it might have just been the Ultimate Universe. And Peach Momoko again seems to have been given quite a bit of freedom in how she's interpreting the X-Men. They are presented here as Japanese students. It's not only combining that Japanese aesthetic, but these tropes and topics that are very prevalent in Japanese media, like manga and anime. Self-harm and bullying come up a lot in the comic, and these are topics that are often depicted in your slice of life manga or anime, or your school setting anime. The idea of like a cult is also presented here, and the way that it's done also feels evocative of Japanese culture in a way. I know that there was a lot of this kind of activity, I want to say around like World War II. The way that it's presented and the way that it is addressed has a very seems very deeply seated in that Japanese aesthetic. If you don't believe me or don't feel like these touches are intentional and meant to be evocative of Japanese school life and Japanese culture, the back of every single one of these comics has cultural notes about the things that come up in the comic. Usually, sometimes it's just extra information just to educate you about Japanese culture. It talks about the second button in a boy's school uniform. It's the button that's closest to your heart, and during graduation, boys will give the second button of their uniforms to girls they have crushes on. That doesn't happen in the comic, but it's an interesting thing to note. It talks about omamori, which are various types of charms. A charm does play a role within the comic. But then it just goes through and tells you, like, what are these different charms? What do they look like? What are they supposed to be protecting you from? Or what are they supposed to give you good fortune with? I think that's really cool. And one of the things that I appreciate so much about this title in particular, and about Peach Momoko in general, is that fusion of American and Japanese stylings, aesthetics, and culture that she seems very interested in exploring and introducing people to. So, if you've not picked up Ultimate X-Men, I'd highly recommend doing so. I think Volume 1 got released back in December. I still haven't picked it up because I'm on a book buying ban, but as soon as that ban lifts, we're going to be getting a lot of comics. Last thing I want to talk about today are the Peach Momoko Magic the Gathering cards. This was a special set of Secret Lair cards. I have complicated feelings about Wizards of the Coast and their Secret Lairs and their direct market system, but like I couldn't pass it up because it was Peach Momoko. And so just want to take a look at a couple of these cards, and a good number of them are things that I will probably use at some point in my decks. These are black and white, and they have much more of a like horror aesthetic to them, both beautiful and a little bit terrifying. We have Aetherize, Drown in Dreams, Psychic Corrosion, Visions of Beyond. This is probably my favorite one. It's got a super creepy picture on it. Time Sieve. Again, very cool art. All of these are either blue or blue-black. I know that there is some degree of freedom when they bring in artists for their artist spotlights. So, is Peach Momoko a blue player? That'd be cool. I'm a blue player. I've got decks that use Psychic Corrosion, Visions of Beyond, Time Sieve, extra turn spells, really powerful. I have not played Magic in literally months, but I still love collecting the cards, and I still like theory crafting, and I absolutely love this art. So yeah, I don't know if there was a point to all of this other than to say Peach Momoko is an amazing artist. I love her work. I really appreciate the work she's doing in bridging Japanese and American culture, and I really love Ultimate X-Men. If you have not checked it out, please do so. Thanks for coming by as I ramble somewhat coherently about an artist I really like. If you like the art you saw here, I would encourage you to pick up Ultimate X-Men. As always, I hope your reading journey is going well. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so we can grow this corner of our BookTube community. And until the next one, take care.